So next we're going to be doing our make or break players. These are players that either have the best season they can, like top 5, top 10 players, if they put enough work in, or they could be a bust and not even worth anything at all. And there's kind of uncertainty with these players because you don't know based on their quarterbacks, based on just how their team plays this season, whether they'll be worth it or not for your fantasy team. So we'll start off with running backs. My number one is Isaiah Crowell, and he's on the New York Jets now. He has Bilal Powell as a backup running back who he isn't consistent, but he's a pretty decent running back. Crowell has had up and down games for the Browns. He's always been back and forth, inconsistent. But I feel like this year on the Jets, their offense is a little more settled with 3 starter quarterbacks to choose from. Crowell may either get plenty of attention or no attention at all. There's no way to tell as of now. And he's either going to help your fantasy team a lot late in the season, or he's going to be trash and not worth anything. One more running back I have is Jerick McKinnon on the 49ers. When he was on the Vikings, he had some great games and some games that were just busts, and you could just never really predict it with him. He is the sole starter in that with Matt Breida as a second-string running back. But I feel like McKinnon, you just can't tell with him. You don't know if he's going to have a great season with a decent offense, or if he's going to have like a bust season and not worth anything to his team, and Breida will take over as a starter, in my opinion. Alright, now we'll do our make or break receivers.
I'll start us off with Allen Robinson. 3 years ago, Allen Robinson had a phenomenal season for the Jacksonville Jaguars. In 2015, he had 1,400 yards and 14 touchdowns.
Along with 80 receptions.
And the next year, he flopped. A lot of people thought he could continue those numbers from 2015, but no, he didn't even get close. And the year after that, he got injured and he's out for the whole season. And now he has a new team on the Chicago Bears with an unpredictable Mitch Trubisky. He could be great or he could be horrible.
And now, the reason he did so great in 2015 is that was Blake Bortles' breakout season. He was a top 5 quarterback that year. And then, since then, he went kind of downhill, throwing a lot of interceptions, just not being as great of a quarterback as he had in that one season. And that's why Allen Robinson hadn't been doing as well. But now with a new team, Mitch Trubisky, that could be on the rise. Allen Robinson's either going to be that player that scores you 10, 15 points a game, or a player that scores you 2.
Yeah, and the next make or break we have is Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas. Same situation with Mitch Trubisky and the Bears. You just don't know how Case Keenum is going to perform. He could perform great like he did in some games in the Vikings, or he could perform horrible. And that's it. That's what's going to determine Emmanuel Sanders, Demaryius Thomas productions. You just don't know.
Yeah, and if you look at Case Keenum's year-by-year stats, last year he was threw for 3,540 yards with the Vikings. Year before that, on the Rams, he only threw for 2,200, and before that, less than 1,000 the past couple of years. So he hasn't been a consistent starter. That's why he hasn't been throwing as much. But he hasn't been as great of a quarterback anyway until last season. He had his breakout year. And with a quarterback like that that's had good years, bad years, he's so unpredictable that you don't know how he's going to perform, especially on a new team with new receivers who are great receivers but just need a good quarterback and consistent quarterback. My next make-or-break player is Larry Fitzgerald. The reason behind that is because he's been great. He's been one of the top receivers each year for the amount of receptions he's been getting. But with a new quarterback in Sam Bradford and maybe even Josh Rosen, or is it Allen? Josh Rosen. He might not get as much attention since he's not as familiar, doesn't have that connection with the quarterback like he did with Bradford. No, like he did with Carson Palmer.
Yeah, again, another sleeper, another make or break is Kelvin Benjamin. Josh Allen's the quarterback on that team?
AJ McCarron.
AJ McCarron / Josh Allen is now the quarterback for the Bills. It's just another situation where you don't know how they're going to do, and that's what's going to determine Kelvin's production. He's had great production with Cam Newton and the Panthers in the past, but now he has a questionable QB, and you don't know how he's going to do.
My next one, I'm going to do Tyreek. My next make-or-break player is Tyreek Hill. Now, if you look at his stats last season, towards the end of the season, he started doing pretty good consistently every game. Look at his stats from last season. They're so much better than in the away games than they are at the home games. and I don't know why that is, but he had that special connection with Alex Smith on the deep ball, and that's what's been getting him all those yards and touchdowns. With a new quarterback like Patrick Mahomes with a strong arm, you just don't know if he has that same connection as he did with Alex Smith, and that's why he's a make-or-break player for me.
The next one is Jarvis Landry, and this is an obvious reason. He's on the Cleveland Browns, and they are absolutely horrible, and you have no idea how the quarterback is going to do. Jarvis is a great player, no doubt, but you just have no idea how he's going to do because he's on the Browns now.
And going along with that, Tyrod Taylor's his quarterback to start out the season. He did not throw for over 300 yards in one game last season. He never has made a receiver a breakout receiver, and though Jarvis Landry has proved to be a solid receiver, I don't know if Tyrod Taylor can continue that streak. All right, so my first quarterback sleeper, I'm going to go with...
Make or break.
My first quarterback make-or-break player is going to be Marcus Mariota. Now, same receiving core as last year. They didn't get anyone with Rashard Matthews, who may start out injured, but Corey Davis, who should have a better season. Mariota's either going to have another breakout season like he did a couple years ago until he was injured, or he may have like a little bit slower of a season like he did last year, who is still pretty decent, just not as top as he was this year before. And he does have a tough division to play in this year with the Texans and Jaguars, along with the Colts getting Luck back. He's got an all-around tough division, which is going to make a lot more pressure on him.
Another make-or-break QB I have, he's more of a sleeper, but Derek Carr. He now has Gruden as his head coach, who we all know is a phenomenal head coach. Carr, a few seasons ago, I think 2 or 3, he had a great year, and I think Gruden can really turn around with that. And
with new receivers too.
Yeah, with new receivers, he's got Jordy Nelson now, and Martavis along with Amari Cooper. So I really think Derek Carr is going to turn around this year.
And one more make-or-break quarterback that I have is Josh McCown. And I'm going to say that because he's got 2 other starter-worthy quarterbacks behind him in the depth chart. And he had a pretty solid season last season. If you look at his stats, he did perform well last year compared to how he has done any other year. And he is that starter-worthy quarterback. However, if he doesn't perform like he did last year, the Jets won't be afraid to switch him out for the rookie Darnold or even Teddy Bridgewater real quick. So he's got to perform the best he can or else he's going to get kicked off. That's why he's my make or break.
All right, that's good.
All right, thank you for watching. I'm Max.
And I'm Wyeth.
And